have tonight, this is the 16th of September 1991. We have John Baron Unck. Wave to us, John.
Hi there, hello.
That's John Baron Unck. And we have sitting beside him his brother, Walt. His name is Walter. What's your full name?
Walter Unck Jr.
No, no middle.
No middle name?
No middle name.
Walter Unck Jr.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
Now,
I'm interested in the family.
was there a girl between the two of you?
No.
No.
You were born and then he was.
Yeah, I'm 5 years smarter.
I thought you meant a girlfriend.
I mean,
You're 5 years older.
5 years old.
They didn't have any kids for 5 years.
No,
That's right.
Well, now, you've got 3 older sisters?
right.
Yeah.
3 older sisters.
Let them talk, let them tell.
Okay. Okay, what I want you to do is tell about your childhood growing up together in Ogden. With the two of you there, we're going to get the truth, because the other one was going to correct the other and call the other a liar, maybe we'll get in a fight. These two were the best of friends as kids. They used to fight all the time. Let's start out. What are your earliest recollections of when this guy was born?
Well, my first recollection of him, he was quite ornery even before he could talk. Yeah, he was.
No.
He was 5 years younger than me, and when Walt was due, we all believed in the stork them days, and Mrs. Burton was a neighbor of ours, and she was the neighborhood midwife. Anyway, Walt was about due, and with me and Jenny and Wanda climbed up in the tree. They told us this was the day the stork was coming, and we climbed up in the big tree in back of our house and waited for hours for the stork. And it never come. And then all of a sudden Mrs. Burton come running out the front door, run around the back. She said, "Oh, come on in the house." She says, "The stork come and delivered Mama a baby." He says, we didn't see no stork. He says, "Well, he snuck in the front door because he knew you kids was looking."
That was great.
So we believed it. So they left 14 pounds and some odd ounces.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
kidding.
Yeah. Biggest baby in the state of Utah at that time.
Oh my
Yeah. Just a big bundle of love.
And he was delivered at home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You're contradicting yourself.
Well, what did I do now?
You says he was a lovely bundle of joy.
Yeah, well, to mother. He grew up. Oh boy. He grew up fast. He was so big. Everybody was just scared of him. He walked down one side of the street and everybody would go over to the other side. They wouldn't pass him.
What age?
God, when did you pick it up, Walt?
I guess according to you, right from the start.
Yeah, good. No, he was always a big boy, big boy. But him and I he was 5 years younger, but he caught up with me fast because he was so big. So we rode bicycles and we rode everything come along, didn't we?
Yes.
Well, Walt, what's your earliest remembrances and recollections of your big brother?
Well, possibly, maybe 5 or 6. He started me in school, at the old Madison School. That's about as far back as I can remember.
Remember the day we stole the ride? Tell them about the day we stole the ride.
Oh yeah, we was going to school and the old Model T truck come along there and
winter time.
We jumped on the back of it and I fell off. I don't know how they ever found out that it was concussion.
Well, it was winter time. The street's full of ice.
Yeah.
We was hanging on the back of our back of the truck, skiing with our feet, you know.
Yeah.
And clumsy Unck fell off. But he fell on the back of his head, so I ran over to the neighbors and knocked him colder than a cucumber. And so anyway, we got him home. I don't know who took him home, but we had Dr. Dumpke rush up to take a look at him, said he had a concussion of the brain. So he was in bed for a few days with a big knob on his head.
Did you ever try that again?
No, that cured it. That cured it.
No, but in the summertime we used to hook on the fender like this on the cars and trucks going down the street and right alongside the car, you know.
With your bicycle?
On the way to school.
John, let Walt do
No.
some talking.
It's what-
I'm
Walt-
sorry. It's a two-way street
No.
tonight.
Now Walt went to say when he first knew Dad and he was 5 or 6, so let Walt go
Yeah,
back to that,
that's
okay?
good. I just went along there and, well, I don't remember if it's in sequence or not, but just incidences that I can remember. I remember him and a neighbor boy, the same age. I don't suppose he was very old. They caught this horse. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then they brought it down and they put it in an empty lot. It was, well, right about Mother's place. I can remember him doctoring that horse's turpentine. He was full of ticks.
Oh, jeez.
And was that what you used, turpentine?
Yeah.
And gosh, they got his mane and his tail all in good shape, and got that horse in first class shape. And for some farmer must have been watching it, because when they got it all cured, why, he come over and cleaned it. You remember that?
Yeah. We put her lost in one time when they squirted his stomach with turpentine.
Yeah.
He put her kicked the barn down.
Yeah. And now another occasion, the old time lawnmower, the old real type. Johnny would turn it upside down and sit on the roller and grab on the handle. And he'd, Walt, you're my horse. So I grabbed the handle, started running, and he said, whoa, whoa. I said, I'll cure you, you son of a gun. Whoa, whoa, whoa. After he got his little finger in the blades, why, that cured him. He didn't have me do it no more.
Did you cut it off?
No, I guess
No,
still
just
crooked, isn't
took
it?
all the skin and it was in bad shape.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Now, is he the one that took the motor off your mother's washing machine?
Yeah, Walt did it.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about that, Uncle Walt?
Oh, there's this neighborhood boy, he come over and he wanted a motor. No, let's see. Oh no, I made a
Jigsaw.
jigsaw, yeah, that's right. And didn't know where to get a motor, so I took it off of Mrs. Montfrance's washing machine. She just had it outside. I guess mother went, Mrs. Montfrance went to use her washer and it wouldn't work. She went over and told Mom, no, they call Mom Gents. She says, Gents, Mom, my washing machine won't work. Mom said, oh, I'll come over and fix it for you. So Mom grabbed the little box of tools and went over there. Then they discovered there wasn't any motor in it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't recall anymore how they knew it was me. I guess the first suspicion was me.
You put a lock on the barn, on the little
Oh.
workroom there.
A little hut.
Yeah,
Little
that,
hut.
when you put the lock on there, why they.
And then, in that same little hut, I had a little stove.
Wood burning stove?
Pardon me?
Wood burning?
Yes. And this little hut, I guess, maybe about 8 by 10. And John comes out and he says, "Mom, what's in the house?" And I said, "Oh, go on, leave me alone. Better come in."
How old were you at
I
this
said,
time?
"No." So Johnny come in and he urinated on that stove.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I left the shack. I came in the house.
Oh.
Don't you remember that? Yeah.
No.
And what the heck else was there? Oh, I remember when we were kids. Johnny had he took I think it was a tin can, and he put it in a mound of dirt, put the dirt over it, and then he tunneled in from here. And he'd get all the little kids in the neighborhood to drop a penny in there, and the little kids came to drop a penny, and he says, if you guys can get in and get that penny, I'll give you a nickel. But they didn't know that he had a mousetrap in there.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
These are stories that Dad's never told.
No, you don't tell, of course.
Well, do you remember when you made the flipper? And the
Yeah.
the back tree had a big
Big Y in
a
it.
big Y in it, and so they all had their small flipper scratches. So John got an idea that the flipper scratch will flip a stone that far. What will a big long one do? So they got this old inner tube, and they made two great big long
Long strips that were
running
the
strips
length
out
of
of
the
that
tube.
inner tube.
The length of the
And I
tube.
thought, boy, this is going to be great. Okay, you're ready. I don't know how big a rock you had in it. But anyway, they pulled it way back and let her go, and all it does is went bloop. It never even traveled the length of the rubber strips you had on it. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a disappointment.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember Dad had that pile of planks?
What?
You had a pile of lumber planks, 2 by 10.
Oh yeah.
2 by
Yeah.
12. He came home one night and they were missing. I guess he started inquiring around, but you and Roddy O'Connor, I guess, huh? They made a roller coaster out of it.
Oh, jeez.
They just come up like this, and what did you do when you come to the top? I remember the little cart you made, but I don't know how you ever got over the top.
I made one for the kids here, Pat and Phil's children, up in the tree house up
Like a
there.
roller coaster.
And it went clear out there to the swimming pool.
Oh, but maybe that's where you got your idea from when you was a kid.
Yeah, I told him when we was a kid
Yeah.
we had one. That was a good one though. Roller skate wheels and
Yeah.
guides so it couldn't come off.
And then Johnny had a friend that had a horse. Remember the horse? Ray Volker.
Oh yeah, Clyde.
At that time, they kept the horse right in the city. But you and him done a lot of riding on that
Oh, lots of riding.
riding on that horse.
Yeah. You remember Hance on the corner, Uncle Hance, and he always raised a couple of bulls every summer.
Very vaguely.
Yeah.
Very vaguely.
A couple of throw-off bulls. We used to go up there and ride those bulls. And drove them nuts.
Was that right there on 29th Liberty?
Yeah, that was all open
Yeah.
field there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just very vaguely. I wasn't too old at that time. Too old at that time, no.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, then when he got a little older, I got a motorcycle, and his buddy come from a family that was, I guess, fairly wealthy, huh?
Yeah, very wealthy.
Well, he bought, at that time they had the motorcycles, and John couldn't afford a license plate for it, so his buddy says, "Well, here, take one of mine." So John took another one and took the second one of Bob's and bolted it on his bike, and they were riding around one day, and what's that cop's name? Smurthwaite?
Murphy?
Smurthwaite. Rink Smurthwaite?
Something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, why, he was following them, and he seen these two motorcycles with the
Both
same
had the
number plates on them.
Both had the same license plate.
Same number. I don't recall how it ever turned out. Do you remember?
Yeah, well, I was underage. There was nothing he could do about it. He took the plates. I don't remember getting any other trouble over it.
Then I remembered when you got that first gear shift car.
Yeah?
What was that, a Whippet?
Yeah, a whippet.
So Johnny learned me how to drive it. So the first time I soloed, why, there was a hill you had to get from downtown to home. 28th Street. So I took it downtown and was coming home, and I got halfway up the hill and it wouldn't go any farther. Oh my God, what do I do now?
It wouldn't make the hill in high gear.
Didn't make the hill in high gear. And oh my God, what the hell do I do now? Well, I coasted down, and I guess I managed to make another start and get over the hill. I don't recall exactly. But I got home and I said, "John, what are you supposed to do when you get in the middle of a hill and you can't make it?" They didn't have sense enough to put it in second gear, you know. But you learn fast.
Now, where did you guys sleep in your house?
How old were you when you did that?
I was about 14.
That
Well,
means
I was older than 10.
Yeah.
Well, what were you doing owning a car at 14?
Well, we owned cars earlier than that.
Oh yeah,
I had my first Model T when I was about 11 years old.
I mean, didn't they have any driver's license laws?
No, they didn't have
No,
one.
you didn't have driver's license them
They
days.
didn't need one.
No insurance either. Didn't get out beat up on the
Yeah.
I learned to drive when I was a kid. I went up to Uncle Mavis's. He lived way up in the hills. And he had to go to catch the Bamberger. That's a train that goes back and forth to Ogden to Salt Lake. He had to catch the Bamberger, and he says, "John," he says, "you know how to drive a Model T, don't you?" I said, "Yep." He says, "Well, I have to catch the Bamberger to catch your aunt. She's coming home from the temple, and you drive my car back up the hill. Would you do that for me?" I said, "Sure." So all the kids piled in there, and we took him down the depot, and he got off and cut the train, and Mavis says, "Let's go." And I said, "Well, wait, I gotta find out how to run this thing first." But I'd watched my father so many times and wanted to drive, but not, so I knew enough to push on the clutch and then throw that gear down, and that's all there was to it. Let the clutch out. So we went joyriding all afternoon in that Model T Ford. Oh boy.
Took the long way home, huh?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Remember an instance there where the brakes was bad. But in the neighborhood there was a mechanic, Witteveen.
Oh yeah, John Woodavine.
But anyway, I told Dad, I said, well, I'll take it over. And I went through his garage door.
That guy didn't even work.
Yeah, I went through the garage door.
His brakes didn't work.
No,
huh?
And Dad had to go over and fix it, you know. But he didn't give me hell. He just corrected me, but he never gave me hell or anything.
Yeah.
He was charging it up to experience, I guess.
Yeah.
No, back that time, you could buy a Model T for $25.
Oh yeah, less than that.
And,
You could buy a Model T for 25.
well, they were used.
Used car, used.
They were used.
They
They were.
sold for around $300 new,
And
right on the floor,
Yeah, but what was the week's wages in those days? $25,
or 50 cents a day.
yeah.
50 cents a day, so that's only $2.50 a week.
Yeah.
That's a whole month's wages then.
That was a lot of money for a car then.
Yeah.
Tell 'em about Montfrance and in the wintertime when he worked in his shop. We climbed up on a barn.
Yeah. Remember the instance? We had a barn there right next to the neighbor's shed, and he was in there one winter, and I guess he had that coal fire going, and John and Roddy, they shoved the chimney full of snow.
He rolled a great big snowball, snuck over on his roof of his workshop. We put that big snowball on his chimney and it just went zoom
Right down.
right down on his potbelly stove.
You remember Heber?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
Little
I do
Hebrew.
too.
yeah.
Yeah. Poor little kid.
What happened to him?
He died.
He died.
He was sickly.
He got pneumonia. No, diphtheria, wasn't it?
Yeah, diphtheria.
Diphtheria. Bud got it too. Bud had it too.
Who did the disciplining in the house? Your mom or dad or both?
Who did the what?
Disciplining.
Well, when Mother got after us, well, Dad would stand by her and
There you
the
go.
opposite. When Mom corrected us, Dad kept his mouth shut. When Dad corrected us, Mom kept her mouth shut.
What did they do to discipline you?
Well, I guess we were just brought up that he was very, he had his roles and you either went by him or else, but he never beat us.
Dad never touched me, but
No.
boy, my mom could sure give
Oh
you
yeah,
a beating.
Mom, Dad was.
You.
Dad had that look in his eye that
You knew
was
you
worse
better.
than a beating.
That evil eye.
Yeah,
All they had to do was
well, I
look
guess
at
I
you.
was about 14. About that time when I still had that awful temper.
Yeah.
And I'd done something Dad didn't like, and I sassed him back. Well, Dad would have been 50 years old then. He's 36 when I was born, so he'd have been 50. Boy, I underestimated the ability of a 50-year-old.
You sassed him back?
I sassed him, talked back to him,
Yeah.
and that's what that done it.
What'd he do?
Oh God, he knocked me on my butt so quick I never knew where it come from. Well, that's like I say, just underestimated. the ability of a 50-year-old man.
Did you ever
You know,
ask
when
them
you're
again?
14, 50 years old was an old man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 52. I must be an old lady now then, huh?
Jeez.
Did you have jobs and chores to do around the
Oh
house?
yeah, we
the
had
yard?
big kindling in, and I guess John was ahead of me, and then I came along, and it was my job, and
Yeah.
then it went on to Bud and Stan, and but during the summer months, Dad would bring home scraps of wood. I mean, we chopped it into kindling wood and put it in, those corrugated boxes, and stacked it in the garage. So in the wintertime, we wouldn't have any kindling to get in. And then, you remember how Dad used to barter on his coal?
Yeah.
You get 10 tons for a guy, and then he'd do work for this coal man. But he got it, what they call a pit run. It was chunks all the way from this big to powder.
Oh wow.
So every night, Dad had a sledgehammer there in the coal shed, and you had to break up those big lumps into smaller pieces so Mother could get it in the stove. Remember when you
Yeah,
left the iron on?
Yeah. That was
Mother
That
just
was-
got new linoleum.
I was pressing me a pair of pants to go to the dam.
Mother just had a new linoleum job. Oh, she's so proud of it. John was, well, that's what she was doing, huh?
Pressing a pair of pants.
And then he laid the iron down in the chair.
In the chair?
Uh-huh.
Oh, jeez.
And left it.
Oh,
Forgot it.
Forgot it. Mother wasn't home.
It was on.
Now, I don't know who discovered it, whether she did, I don't recall. But anyway, it burned right through the chair
oh,
and down and burning into that linoleum.
Oh.
Went right through her
It's
new
funny,
linoleum
the
floor.
house didn't get on fire.
They come home, the house was full of that icky smoke, and they looked and seen that hole, just the shape of an iron right through the kitchen floor.
It's funny that strange that never burnt down, you know?
I know it. It just
So I guess it just smoldered.
smoldered and fell through the basement.
Then you
Went
remember?
clear through the floor into the basement?
Yes.
You gotta be.
Right there
Dad-
on the well, it was
Dad-
red hot, you know.
Dad had to put a patch in it. I guess he had the linoleum. I don't know
No.
who made the patch. I don't
And
recall.
they had the insurance company out.
Oh.
He gave her $25 for it, which was a lot of money to
I
him.
know.
And then they kept the 25 and Dad patched it. Wait, remember that window that was broke in our bedroom? And every time it snowed or we had a pile of snow on the floor,
Oh, yeah.
that was still that way when I left home.
sounds familiar.
Well, a carpenter lived there.
You mean whenever it snowed, you got a little pile of snow inside?
We had a French window in the bedroom, and one of the little 6x8 things was broke. And every time it would rain, it'd get wet, and every time it snowed, there was a little pile of snow there on the.
It's
Floor.
terrible.
We'd
Yeah,
sweep it out the door.
Mother missing her
It
fruit.
was there all the time I was home.
Now, did you sleep in one big bed or have separate beds?
Walt was my bed partner.
Well, did he eat the peaches with you?
Used to what?
She's asking Walt.
Did he eat peaches with you?
Oh, yeah. He more than I did.
Well, he said he'd steal them from his mother and take them
Mother
upstairs.
kept her fruit upstairs. And John would get a quart of that, and then he'd bring it in the bedroom, and then we'd eat it.
No, Chase.
And then you threw it down where?
And then Johnny would throw it. Wasn't there a hole in the rafters? He
Yeah.
threw it down the rafters.
And you tell them how they found it. How they found out.
I don't
my sister's husband Pete come over to paint the house. And when he was painting the eaves around the outside, one of them was loose, and when he was hammered, he heard something bouncing in there. So he pulled the board loose to see what it was, and he says the whole eaves is full of empty bottles.
Yeah, I can remember Johnny come home and he'd have a package of those musket raisins. You remember what the musket raisins?
Seeded muskets.
The big raisins.
Sticky
The
muskets.
Big raisins, and they all stuck together.
Yeah.
Seeded
Musket,
muscat.
I think that's what they call it, wasn't
Yeah.
it? But anyway, he'd go in bed and eat those musket raisins. Of course, I guess I was eating them too.
Yeah.
Mother'd come up and make the bed, and then she'd see all them damn musket raisins in there. And you got hell for that.
And the cocoa.
Yeah, cocoa and sugar. But then sit in that bed and eat just cocoa and sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did your parents have a blessing on the food or any other type of prayer or religion thing in the home?
It was mostly on Sundays. On Sundays. In Sundays. And then when Granddad Scouten was there, why, I remember as kids, he'd always ask the blessing, and then as kids sit around making fun of him,
Oh.
which was very ignorant, I will admit, yes. But of course, kids is,
And your mother and father allowed that?
well, they had their head down and their eyes closed.
Oh.
How did you know that?
Well, we probably looked. And of course, there's, like under the table and making fun of the poor old man. Well, as you grow older, yes, you realize that it was ignorance, but children do funny things.
Now, did they take you to church or send you to church on Sunday? Did you go to
Well,
church?
see, I remember the age of going to church, and Mother bought me a pair of knickerbockers. And Mother, I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to be seen in them knickerbockers. You had a foot that long, wear knickerbockers. You're going to wear them. Well, I'm not going to wear them to church. So anyway, she'd send me to church.
Where'd you
Right.
get a chair?
Right across from the church is a big field. Remember the park across from the
Yeah.
I'd go over there.
Come to here, you wear socks with
Yeah.
Golf
Uh,
pants.
And I would go over there and hide out in the tulies, and when I see the church out, well, then I went home.
Oh, you never
Oh,
got to?
jeez.
But I think if she'd probably give me put a different pair of pants on me, I'd have probably went. But I
That was your style in the days, Paul.
don't know.
I
I give
had
a
the
damn
same
whether
thing.
it's style or not.
Well, Dad, do you
At that
remember about
time-
going to church?
At that time, I had an awful tremendous temper.
Oh,
A
yeah.
tremendous what? Oh,
Temper.
temper, yeah.
My father was afraid of him.
Oh,
Yeah. Mother would say, you gotta get after
I
that
believe I
boy."
could whip a man 3 times my size. No,
You don't know why you were
But
so
one
mad?
day I hit my sister Jenny, and it hurt her. And I think from that day on,
That was it,
that
huh?
temper was gone.
You realized it had gone too
I
far.
realized it was the wrong thing to do, and just temper tantrums.
You remember throwing the axe at her? Just went right over the top of her head.
Yes.
Yeah. When her didn't.
Well, now, did your father have a temper? You don't know when your temper started, huh? You know when it stopped.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe born with it. Yeah.
No, you're not born with it.
Well,
Dad. Dad had a temper.
Dad had a temper too. I seen Dad go after a man with a saw one time. If he hadn't to run, I know he'd have got hit. And that was a man. The man was my age.
Yeah.
He'd done a job, and the guy was reluctant to pay. And Dad says, "Well, by God, I've never been cheated out of a dime in my life. I'll take it out of your hide." and he picked up that saw,
Oh.
and that kid ran. That was down in Anderson's lumber mill. And some big old employee was in there, and he says, "Take it easy, Dad." And turned around and said, "You want some too?" I'll bet my life that if they hadn't have moved, he'd have hit him.
Don't
course.
sound like Grandpa, does
No,
it?
Of course.
the grandpa we
I mean,
knew.
it was wrong, yes.
And one time he didn't come home, one Saturday he didn't come home. Mother says, "Dad's down 25th Street, John, you better go get him. Get him before he gets too drunk." So I went down 25th Street. When I got close to that Star Bar where Dad had his bootleg place.
There was a Star Noodle.
No, remember
No.
Dad's had
Oh, yeah.
they called them speakeasy them days.
Well, vaguely, yeah.
Anyway, there was a big commotion. When we got down there, it was my dad. He had an armful of the cue balls. I mean the pool table balls was throwing at a guy running down the street.
Billiard ball?
jeez.
Billiard ball.
Yeah, throwing the pool table balls. This guy down the street. Whatever that happened, I don't know. But the guy was going 50 miles an hour. With Dad after him, throwing balls at him.
Something must have stopped your father's temper, because in all my life I don't remember around
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
temper.
but I don't either.
He's funny.
I think Jenny.
But I mean, all his life he was easy going, but when he was mad, he was just a holy
Got ticked
terror.
off.
It's
Yeah.
like that old adrenaline and just a shot of adrenaline, I guess, it just caused his, I don't know.
Well, now, did your grandpa taught you how to do carpentry then, Dad? Is that
Oh.
right? You said he used to have you saw wood?
I
Or?
worked for Dad for years
Oh yeah, I was.
on John and Walt.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, we in the neighborhood got in a jam, an unlawful jam, you know. And they locked us up in that Farmington jail. You remember that little
Yeah.
jail? Well, that's where they had us. I think they had us there for about 4 days. Mother and Dad had to come, you know. Dad
He was
never-
an accomplice to he stole a Model T Ford or something to go for a ride.
Well,
Something
the
like that.
car we stole was one of the kids.
Oh.
We pushed his dad's car out of the driveway into the street, so Dad wouldn't hear us, you know. And then, let's see, we was down it was in Farmington, and one of the kids says, "Oh," he says, "I got an uncle and aunt over here that's got a grocery store. Let's stop in and get something to eat." Well, when we got there, the grocery store was closed, but first thing you know, they was in that store.
Oh.
A couple of days later, they picked us all up. I guess we made what? Oh, fourth. Well, I guess the first year of junior high. But anyway, Dad says, "Okay, you got 3 choices: work, school, or jail." I didn't want to go to jail, and I didn't want to go to school, so he put me to work. We just stayed with it from then on.
Well, they did put you in jail for a while, though, didn't
Oh
they?
yeah, I think it's 3 days.
And your father said let him stay there.
Well, I don't know what he said. But probably said, "I don't think
Yeah,
you're
they
a little
won't-
brat there."
They wanted you to come down and bail you out. He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
no way."
Well,
Let him
I
stay
don't
there and
know.
learn a
I don't
lesson.
know. I know they sent us to juvenile court,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought, well, if that's what jail is like, well, I better be a good boy, you know.
Oh, 3 days. Wow.
I think it was 3 days.
Well, do you remember when Dad moved to California? Walt?
1932.
It was winter, it was December of 1930. Remember that letter I showed you was January of 1931.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, see,
Post-dated.
1930, see, I was only
You were not.
11. Yeah, 11.
I was
Oh, he went to California when he was only 11?
No, I was.
You were 11.
I was.
Yeah, you were 11.
Yeah.
Well, did you miss him?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Nobody to beat up on, huh?
No.
Missed all the peaches.
Missed all
Remember, remember the time I come home on a visit on the freight train
yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I fibbed to the folks and told them that I'd come on the passenger train. I didn't want them to know I was riding the freight trains. And I guess I was too dirty and they didn't believe me. And then you took me down. How did that work?
I don't know. Seemed we was in a car.
I wanted to go back to California.
I don't know whose car it was.
You drove me
It
down.
was a Model T, I know that. But whose car it was, I don't remember that anymore. And,
Pardon.
yeah.
Walt drove me down. He said I had to catch the train at such and such a time. Walt drove me down to the tracks. The train came out and jumped on it.
You never even said goodbye to your mom.
Oh yeah, but at the house.
Oh.
She thought he was going in the passenger train.
Well, Mom, I gotta go down and catch the train.
4
do you-
trips.
Do you remember other relatives that aunts and uncles, or you said Grandpa Scout? And what are some other relatives you?
Well, they made occasional visits, you know. Because most of them was in Salt Lake. The relations.
You-
They,
How about your Unck cousins? Grandpa's
That-
brothers. They're kids.
Ben and Dave and those guys.
oh yeah. But you only seen them on, well, like on a Sunday. You never seen them during the week.
Okay.
And you never seen them, but. And then when they got a certain age, well then they didn't want to go with Mom and Dad anymore. You know, you get about 10, 12, well you don't want to be with Mom and Dad, you want to be out yourself. And,
And you guys really grew up fast.
Yeah.
Driving cars at 10 and 12.
Wasn't there one time when you was all going to Salt Lake and one of the guys fell out of the car and nobody knew it?
We was going down to Grandpa Scout's to see. We were going down to see Grandma Scout. He had all the kids in the back of the truck. Me and Walt, Ben and Dave. I don't know who else is in there. And Dave fell out when we turned the corner on 28th Street. Remember? And Dave fell out of the truck.
How old was he?
Oh, we were just kids. You know, I guess Walt was kind of young.
I don't
And I kept pounding on the roof of the car to tell my dad that David fall out. And he hollered, "Stop pounding on that roof and shut up." I did. When we got down to Grandpa, I told him Dave fell out on 28th and Washington. Why the heck didn't you tell me? And we went back there and there was Dave limping home.
Yeah.
Poor Dave.
Yeah, and that same Dave now he's in a wheelchair with both his legs off. I guess an alcoholic.
Ooh.
Dave
Oh.
Scout.
Yeah, it's too bad.
You see, Mother and Dad married brothers and sisters.
Oh.
Uncle Hans Scouten
Jen's.
was my mother's brother, and his wife Hattie was Dad's sister.
Double
Brothers
cousin.
and Dad's sister. So the children was, I always says, well, we're the same as brothers. Remember?
Full cousins.
'Cause you had, yeah, you was full cousins, but they had it in their mind that you was the same as brothers
brothers and
because you had
sisters.
exactly the same blood.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly the same blood. So,
Well, David, when, oh gosh, this goes way back. I think it was one of the times that I come home for summer, and I had a 1922 Ford Coupe. You remember that one?
the brown one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And me and Dave went down to Salt Lake, and we had a date. It was our first date. And we got all spruced up. And I don't know where I got the clothes, but anyway, we was all spruced up. And we went to pick his girl up first, and I turned the corner, and the door opened up, and he fell out. And he hit all his knees and tore all up from the thing. So he said, well, we can't go on a date now. And I said, well, sure, we got to show up and tell him what happened. So we brought Dave over to his girl's house. His pants was all tore, and his sleeve was all, oh, what a mess. That's the same car I ran over Johnny Gager with and broke his leg.
Oh, I remember that. Well, that was that Model T, you'd had the body stripped off. It was just the running gears.
Yeah, it just had a gas tank on it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, well, wasn't, if I remember the story right, why, Johnny Gager was sitting on the tank and he was laughing about something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he laughed.
I don't know what it was, but he was laughing. I guess he laughed so damn hard he fell off and you run over him.
That's funny.
Well, there was virtually nothing to hang on to. All it was the running gears with a gas tank sitting on it.
Just a frame with a round gas tank sitting this way across the frame.
And the front and the seat.
That was our seat. That's all we had. We run all over the place in that thing. Crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Remember the chickens we had?
Oh,
Chicken
yeah.
coop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Big rooster there, boy, I'll tell you. I think Mother was the only one that could get the eggs, wasn't she?
Yeah.
The rooster attacked the jack.
I remember Mother telling the story. I don't recall it, but when the cow got you into suspenders and threw you over the thin,
Yeah.
and I think that she says she was the only one that could milk that cow.
Uh-huh.
I don't
She had a Jersey cow.
I don't remember.
And the kids used to tease it to death. Everybody used to tease the poor cow.
Mother was the only one that could milk it, and
You'd
I remember
run out-
Mother saying that it hooked you in your suspenders of your overall.
Yeah, and it wouldn't know.
Flipped you.
It had a curly horn. He hooked me in the back of the suspenders like that, but I couldn't get it off. And he's standing there shaking his head, trying to get me off, and she's trying to get me off, and screaming bloody murder, and finally the thing threw me through over the fence.
And then Mother says, I think she said they got rid of it.
Yeah,
Uncle Mavis Baker,
yeah.
well, if I recall Mom's words was, she says, he made the statement, he says, I'll kill it or I'll cure it. He finally killed it. Well, that was the story I remember Mother saying, that he finally killed it. But strange, remember Mother saying that's true and heifer.
Oh,
I'm out of battery power.
yeah.
And
Go again.
Well, tell,
Yeah,
Talking about the dog tails?
tell them about the fox terrier.
this little strange female come on the. I think the little female was pregnant when it come on the place, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember exact details, but I think it was. I think it was with puppies when she came on the place. And she had the three little pups. And John bit their tails off when you come in. Then she turned around and eat them.
It's
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, but that night though, not right away. It was during the night.
I heard that
I think.
they eat their young if you mess with them.
And
Yeah.
I called under Mrs. Joyce's house one day. And there are a lot of goulashes, boots. And I put a pair on and I come home, Mom says, where'd you get those? I says, I crawled under the Joyce's house and I put them on. Well, you better get them off, take them back. I couldn't get them off. She couldn't get them off. Dad come home and he couldn't get them off. So he took a knife and he cut them off.
Oh, jeez.
Now, how I ever got them on, I don't know. But Mother couldn't take them off and Dad
Yeah,
couldn't.
they were hard, very hard.
And so finally, I remember Dad cutting them off. And
Oh,
I think
jeez.
Mother threw them in the fire. Or well, disposed of them somehow. I don't know.
You remember when I was putting new brake bands in my Ford, that Ford Crown
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
sedan, and you was working on your bicycle?
Yeah. Yeah.
How old were you then?
I don't
I
recall.
was about 14, I guess.
He was about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was putting brake bands in the Model T Ford, and he was working on his bicycle. And he says to me, toss me the pliers. And I says, I'm using them. He says, toss me those pliers. And I says, I'm using them. I'll give you one more chance. Toss those pliers.
Do you remember this?
And I says, I'm using them. About that time, he grabbed me by the two legs and pulled me from underneath that car. And we started wrestling, fighting for that pliers. Well, when he got the pliers, he had my fingernail in him. Yeah, pulled right up with the roots.
Oh,
So I cold-cocked him. We had a,
you know
every,
what that means,
No,
Betsy?
I don't know what that means.
Cole, she don't know what
and
cold
knocked
cock
him out.
means.
Oh.
You
He
hit
had, Mother throwed her tubs of water in where Bud's house used to be.
in the yard.
And she'd throw those tubs of water, and we always had a mud puddle there. And poor Walt fell in that mud puddle, and I hit him. And then I ran in the house, and I said, Mother, I says, come quick, I think I killed Walt. And she came out, and Walt was laying there in his mud pile. Look, look. And we got him out and put him on. Two of us, he carried his feet, and I carried his hands, and we put him on our bed. Shook him, and he come out of it. I want to know what happened.
KO'd, huh?
Yeah, that was terrible.
I guess I done the same thing with Stan. I was painting my bicycle. I don't know what he started fooling around. He started fooling around. And I says, "Knock it off. Take off." I says, "If you don't take off, I'm gonna paint your butt blue."
Oh,
No. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
You painted it.
Two or three spots of blue paint across his butt. That was his bare butt. And, but I don't know. I don't know what Mother done.
No.
You must not have done much, or you would have remembered it.
Not much.
Funny, you can remember instances, but you can't mean prior or after you that left you.
You know, but for such a
Calm person.
terrible person that he was when he was young,
Yeah.
he's
So
so
kind
calm
and gentle.
You remember the ice cream Ma used to make on Sundays? And
Oh yeah.
we used to have an old churn there, and we,
Throw a bottle of strawberry jam in it.
yeah.
You remember how you used to, in the winter, how you'd freeze your fruit?
Yeah.
You'd like
yes,
it about half froze.
yeah.
Just half froze.
Probably
Oh,
Diane.
get it, please.
That's probably
No,
for
Diane.
you.
Oh, it's Walt. I don't want to talk
Yeah,
to
that's
Oh,
probably
Monday
for
night
you.
Walt calls.
you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's.
Who is it? Oh, Cherie. Yeah. Just a minute, honey.
It's for Dee.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's alone.
Here, I'll get. I sit there.
Oh,
We have a thing here. Look.
nice.
nice. Nice.
What'd you do? Freeze your fruit and eat it half?
Yeah, but just made it kind of a slush out of it.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah, just kind of made took a slush.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you.
good.
Yeah.
Uncle Walt,
Yeah.
Dad, Cheery, your childhood.
And then the milk used to rise on the bottle outside when we had it delivered.
I looked at your
It,
schedule.
it'd go about that high and we'd eat it.
Yeah, and the cork, push the cork up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, where did Ida come along? She's younger than Walt?
No, she's older than John.
Older than me. 2 years older than me.
Oh, because you got Jenny, Wanda, and Ida.
Yeah. And then John.
Then John, then you.
And then 4 boys.
Oh, all the 4, and then Joyce.
And then the last one's Joy.
Oh.
3 girls in a row, 4 boys in a row. You remember Mother saying, "Oh, my girls are so nice to raise, but when my boys come along, all hell broke loose." You remember Mom saying that?
Well, I believe that. Well, how much younger is Bud than
2.
you?
Under me.
Yeah, but how many years?
2 years.
2 years.
Well, he come right along fast then. And Stan,
Yeah.
how much
Well,
younger?
I was in 19, and Bud was in 21, and Stan was in 23.
Okay, they come right along then.
So they're working a little overtime then, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
did you have any problems with Bud and Stan? Well, he
Oh.
took off and left you with
Oh
those
yeah,
2 boys.
oh yeah. No, I remember. Bud and Stan, of course, when John went, then I had the back bedroom alone, and of course, I guess I started going out before they did, and maybe that talk bothered me.
Oh, no.
I wrestle with them both in the bed. And Mother would come with that broom on that ceiling.
Yeah.
Hit that ceiling, that
Yeah.
boom, 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 knock it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that window was cracked, for years. Where I put I remember when wrestling and I hit the window with my foot. It didn't break it, but it cracked it, and I think it stayed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come one night he says, "Well," he says, "I want to borrow." Well, this is when we was pretty well growing up. He says, "I got a date tonight." He says, "Can I take your car?" Yeah, sure, go ahead. That was before his house was there, Sure, go ahead. Oh, about midnight or maybe a little later, why? Come in and shook me. "Wake up, Walt." I woke up. What's the matter? He said, "I wrecked your car." I said, "Is anybody hurt?" "No." I said, "Well, where's the car?" "No, it's in the lot." "Well, we'll look at it in the morning." "You can't. We got to go down and make a report. Thank God I had to get up and get dressed and go down to the police station and make out an accident report. Wired, he rolled it. And I guess I drove that old car for a couple of years with it.
What was it?
31 Chevrolet.
Oh my gosh.
This year, right?
Oh, I tried, she's.
Well,
all
I remember
alone.
quite a classy little
She didn't
job.
get
It
home.
had
I said, when you have a
side
chance,
wells
go
in the
down,
fender,
she
you know, in both fenders,
Saturday,
wire
Sunday,
wheels.
Sunday morning.
This is a classy little,
Just checking on him, 'cause who else?
classy
is
little
gonna check on
automobile.
Yeah, that was a good looking car. I remember that.
And
Well, if you left town when you were 16, that means Stan was only about 8.
I left when I was 14.
Well, then you didn't
Well,
see your little
Stan-
brother
Stan-
grow up much.
Stan
No, I
don't,
didn't see
no.
the kids grow up.
Stan don't remember John being there. Stan don't. Because we was talking here a while back, Stan says, no, I don't remember that, I don't remember this.
I left when I was 14. Then I come back when I was 16.
You were gone 2 years. Oh my goodness.
Back when I was 16 and joined the CCC camp.
Yeah.
They sent me up to Blacksmith Fork, up above Logan.
What's the CCC?
Civilian Conservation Corps.
Oh, okay.
You had to sign up for a year. And oh my, it was hard work. It was they call it riprap, putting all the rocks around the banks of the river,
Yeah.
so the river wouldn't wash the bank away.
What president was that put that in?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt did a lot of that.
Okay.
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Yeah,
And,
Roosevelt created a lot of work.
And I said, I can't take this. That's terrible. And the only way you could get out of it was that if somebody had a job for you. So I wrote Herschenfeld's, and that's where I worked, you know, the people I went with.
Yeah.
And told them the only way I can get out is if you send me a letter offering a job. So you write me a letter and just tell them you're offering me a job so I can get out of here. So they wrote a nice letter and says, well, John, we have a job for you anytime you want to come down to California. And I took it to the captain. He said, well, good for you, my boy, good luck. And signed the papers and
You got out of
I
it.
got out. So I hitchhiked home with my thumb from Blacksmith Fork.
Idaho, wow.
And, oh, it was hot, walking on that road and all those cars passing you. But I got home all right. I got home and I stayed around for a few weeks and got on a freight train and went back to California. I went to San Francisco. And then,
You made several trips on that train.
yeah, I had 4 trips. Then I went to San Francisco, then I was 16. And got to work for Benatar's drugstore.
Oh, that's when we went to Benatar's.
And you know the story from then on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Walt stayed right on and became a carpenter.
And he worked with my father for years.
Well, Bud and Stan, did they ever work with your dad?
Well, not to any extent. Not to any extent.
And now,
Yeah, but I guess Bud probably didn't. Well, I don't suppose either one of them liked it.
Well,
but,
Bud was sickly.
But Bud was weak, and Bud went into the shoe business, and about the only work he ever did was shoe salesman. Bud.
Well, didn't he have, what did he have?
Rheumatic heart, did he?
tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis?
In his knee.
He was,
Oh,
Bud and Stan, now Bud lost his first year, and he started when he was 7.
oh,
And Stan started when he was 5.
Oh my God.
So they went all through school together in the same grade.
Mm.
Well, did you have, was Walt and Diane in the same grade?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, Bud and Stan was in the same grade. All the way through, right up to graduation.
Oh,
And 2 years apart, yeah.
Yeah. And you see, Bud lost a year and Stan gained a year.
oh.
But they went all through school and all together.
Well,
Yeah.
had Jenny gotten married before you left?
No, she got married after I left.
After you left.
I
Jenny
didn't miss
was-
the wedding or anything.
Jenny was, well, she's 33 when she got married.
Oh,
She
okay.
was,
Did Wanda get married before Jenny?
pardon me?
Yeah, Wanda got
Wanda,
married
oh
when
yeah,
she
Wanda
was,
married very young.
she was 16.
Well, then she was probably married when you left then. Wanda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Wanda's married before you left because, you see, Wanda was married, I think, in, 27. Wanda got married in 27.
1927?
So, yeah, well, that would be for you.
What did you do for fun as a family, for recreation? What type of fun things did you do as a family?
Oh.
Well, I remember lots of our, see, them days was different. Everybody worked 6 days. And you worked till dark. You didn't quit at 4:30, 5 o'clock. Whenever it was dark, you come home. And then you worked Saturdays. But Saturdays they got off early because Dad always made a draw on his. He was a subcontractor, and he got a price for building the house. And then every Saturday he'd make a draw, and give Mother the shopping money, and her and Jenny'd go in a horse and buggy to go shopping. And then every Saturday when they come home, we had a Dutch lunch.
What's a Dutch lunch?
Well, all cold cuts and cold sauerkraut and pickles and sliced tomatoes and different kind of cold cut. You know,
You called that a Dutch lunch.
we called it a Dutch
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
She'd make slice up cucumbers and onions, you know, and soak them in vinegar.
Okay.
It was just a big lunch like that, and then open up a few cans, bottles of home brew. And Mother was a pretty good brew maker.
Did she let you kids drink it?
She said she made it.
Yeah, she made
Yeah, she made wash day. Monday was wash day. Tuesday was ironing, and Wednesday was usually beer day.
it.
There's always a big crock of beer in her room in the back porch. That big crock sitting on the 2 chairs. Stink. Oh, God, it stank.
I remember that.
Oh, it stank.
Well, who taught you how to cook your Dutch pastries? Who taught you how to enjoy cooking, Dad, and
You
baking?
got that from
Hirschenfeld.
Hirschenfeld, where you
Yeah.
first started.
I was cutting lawns after school, and I stopped by on when I got paid from my cutting lawns. There was a little pie shop on
24th.
24th Monroe, huh?
No, that's about Adams.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was on 24th.
And I stopped in there for a piece of pie, and they put whipped cream all over it, you know. And after coming in there 4 or 5 times, they says, "Well, where do you work, John? What do you do?" And I said, "I cut lawns, water lawns, and I helped my dad after school." He said, well, how much do you make? I don't remember what I told them. But they said, well, we'll pay you a lot more than that if you want to come here and wash pots and pans and clean the kitchen. So it was about twice as much as I was making cutting lawns.
They gave you a free piece of pie to boot.
They got all a pile on it. So boy, I washed pans, and then so while I'm washing in there working in that pie room, and he's thickening up his pie. Say maybe it was for coconut cream pie, and hey John, come on over here. Stir this pan and don't let it stick to the edge. And don't stop, just keep going. Be sure you scrub the bottom with this spoon and keep moving it. And you're okay. And then it's the chocolate pie while you stir this. John, tell you what, get I think, get 2 cups of powdered sugar and get a 1/4 pound of butter and mix that all up together, and we'll pour a little whipping cream in it and stir that up. Because that's how we make our frosting, you know. And the next thing you know, I was doing this and doing that. Little by little, I was rolling out pie dough and pressing out pies, and that's how I got into the baking.
Oh.
So,
How did you learn to do music? Did your mother or father have musical talents?
Mother was a piano player, and Walt was a first-class carver.
Carver.
Walt carved his name in the piano.
Oh, I forgot about it. Gotta talk about that.
Tell them about that.
Oh yeah, Mom and Dad. I guess Mom and Dad went to town, and I don't know what I carved it with.
You got a pocket knife for Christmas.
Oh. But anyway, I carved my name in that piano on Holy Toledo.
Right across the front.
Yeah.
No initials, the whole name.
If I remember right, those about 1-inch letters too, weren't they?
Big, yeah.
Look up maybe that much wrong.
Oh,
I don't know what Dad ever done with that.
I know, but I'll never forget what happened when they come home. Oh boy, talk about a lot of hollering and screaming. Oh.
Well, where did you learn the accordion then? If you had a piano, your mother played by. Did your mother play by ear?
Me?
Yeah.
Walt played the accordion too.
Did Walt play the accordion too?
Yeah.
He's got accordion like
Who
mine.
taught you guys?
I haven't touched it for
Yeah.
25 years.
Well, did you take lessons?
No.
I
Just a
had,
hunt and peck system. Just a hunt and peck system.
I used
But
to.
John stayed with it, John. John got pretty good at it.
There was a bar down the street from where we lived in San Leandro, and the bartender played the button-type accordion. And oh, I love to listen to that music. I could just listen to it all night. And he played so good. And I says, boy, I says, when you die, I hope you will me that accordion. And he said, I will, John. Used to go in there and, come on, get your accordion, let's play. So anyway, bought a new accordion one day and gave me his old one.
Oh, really?
So I just pecked at it and kept pecking until I got a tune out of it. And one tune led to another.
Where did you learn the harmonica?
Well, it seemed like all the kids played harmonica them days.
Did your father?
Everybody, all of the kids had a harmonica in their back pocket.
Did your father play it?
No.
Did your mother?
No.
But didn't she play on the piano?
Who?
Mother, she played our piano.
Well,
Not good, but
not too much.
Jenny's the one on the piano.
Well, do you remember the first funeral in your family? Did they keep the coffin in the home when Grandpa Scouten died?
I don't remember that.
They did when I was a child. Always in the
Well,
home.
Grandma Scouten died first.
Didn't your mother take care of them? Weren't they sick and she took care of them in
Oh,
the house?
yeah.
Or the back cottage?
That's the only time I ever heard Dad say anything against the church.
Really?
Dad, well, your granddad come and he was sick. He went senile. Then he had that what they call erysipelas.
Oh,
And
He was staying in my house?
he got his nose big as my fist and as red as a beet.
Oh.
Erysipelas, I think is what they called it. And the mother and Jenny, they waited on that man, and well, he lost control, and they was continually washing, and he went on and on and on, and I guess for several weeks there before he finally passed away. And when he died, the bishop come and said, well, I come to offer my condolences. And Dad jumped on him. And Dad says, if I remember right, I might misquote him, but if I remember it, Dad says, he says, what the hell was it? He says, you're not welcome or something like that. And I guess took the bishop by surprise. He says, that poor old man was laid there suffering. He says, where's your so-called Relief Society, your help that's supposed to come to these old people and help these old people out? He says, there hasn't been one from his ward that even acknowledged him being sick. He says, there's the old man, he's got bushel boxes full of tithing receipts. And he says, he deserves it.
yeah.
more respect.
Yeah, more
Kindness.
respect. And that's the only time in my life I ever heard that say. And that wasn't against the church.
No, and I can
That was
understand.
against the individual.
The
But anyhow, that's the only time in my whole life that I ever heard Dad say anything about it. And,
Well,
Dad,
he did.
Dad always said, Mother always wanted to go through the temple. Dad always says, he says, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. He says, if I'm smoking and drinking, he says, I know it's against it. But finally in 1965, why, they went through and Dad took it.
That's wonderful.
He had a cup of coffee once in a while, but as far as leading her up, of course she was getting older then too.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, he gave it up, and then I guess he pretty well lived it after he got out. But Mother finally got her wish, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Mother finally got her wish. 'Cause all them years.
Well, you know, I never ever remember your father ever telling dirty jokes.
What?
Or saying anything off color.
No.
Your mother did,
Yeah.
but not your
Well,
father.
Dad never.
Never.
Dad would tell a simple joke. He'd never tell a filthy one. I never heard him say a
Me
filthy one
either.
in my life.
Never.
But a little joke. I remember a little story that went around, and Dad says, I tried it on the sofa, I tried it on the bed, I tried it here and there, but it all ended up to get her photograph.
To what?
So to get her
To get her
your photograph. Everybody probably thought he was saying evil talk, but all the time he was saying it, this guy was trying to get the girl's photograph. And but it was simple little jokes that
He never
But he never-
allowed it in around the house either.
He never.
Never allowed swearing.
I never heard him use any profane language.
Me
Did
either.
No.
Not even on the job?
No.
Uh,
Well, that's tremendous.
no, he didn't swear.
Young man.
And he didn't like anybody else to swear. He didn't.
Oh, that's
He wouldn't
good.
tolerate it.
Well, I remember. They used to have these old hang-on basins. Remember the old hang-on basins?
Yeah.
And I guess I used a little slang there one time, and I remember Mother washing my mouth out with soap. In them days with soap.
Well, I did mine.
Frothing in the mouth and spitting and coughing. Oh, yeah.
That was terrible.
God bless her old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, done a lot of growing up.
That
Oh,
boy.
remember when the O'Connors had the pigeons?
Who?
The O'Connors had the pigeons.
Oh yeah.
And you and Roddy'd get those pigeon eggs and come up to the little kids and break them in their pockets.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Golly, his mother really had a lot.
We stick a pigeon egg in their pocket and they go like that. Break it.
He used to do with chicken eggs.
Oh, that poor little kid, little 4 or 5-year-old kid, and then go to do that, and they go home bawling.
You, I bet that whole neighborhood was. See, both those Unck boys come, they'd run. They-
Ooh. Well, Mr. O'Connor had a big barrel, big wine barrel, and in his garage. And one day, Roddy says, "Let's have some fun." He says, "I'll tell you what we'll do." He says, "Go home and get your dad's brace and bit, and we'll bore a hole in the barrel, and then you get in the barrel with my squirt gun, see? And I'll go tell all the kids in the neighborhood that that if they want to see the owl in the barrel. And then when they look in the hole, you squirt them in the eye." We got to the barrel, we poured a hole in it, and I crawled in the barrel. Roddy put the lid on it, and he went over to Dick Watkins and old Johnny Gager and all those guys, and "Hey, come on over," he says, "we got a big owl on the barrel." All the kids come home to see the owl. He sticks his eye there and squirts it just like.
Yes, he was always.
Those little crazy little things. It's, yeah, you remember the good cooking that Mother did? Them spaghetti she used to make, and ugh.
Yeah.
Boy, her split pea soup was out of this world, 'cause we had used a lot of bacon them days, and she had those bacon rinds. They was real smoked bacon. They wasn't like
No.
the salt bacon we buy.
Well, you never bought it.
And
When you used to buy it, it still had the
Rind on it.
rind on it.
yeah, and she'd throw that rind in them beans, and ooh, God, it was good.
Yeah, what I missed mostly after I got married was the lemon pies.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I never ate a lemon pie that I liked as well as, but 'cause most of them use the pudding,
Yeah.
vanilla pudding. Most people use that, and but she wouldn't. Well, even when she squeezed the lemon, she wouldn't even use the rind. It was just the pure concentrate, and they just melted in your mouth. And that white on it about that much.
Yeah. She was a good cook.
And then the bouquet letter
Yeah.
was made out. They made it with almond
The
paste.
Bolter letter.
Huh?
Bolter letter.
Boater letter. But they made a pastry. And I remember Mother. She never used no lard in the
In the dough.
in the dough.
Make it out of butter.
They'd roll it and chill it. A little later they'd roll it and chill it. And roll it and chill it. And then when it was baked, then it was flaky. It's all flaky.
Yeah, all that butter they'd put on it when they'd roll it.
And then they used the almond paste for a filler. You know, it's just like peanut butter, only almond.
He's
I
made
made it for years.
Oh,
every New Year's.
yeah. Well, that and that
Yeah.
very rich.
And the puffages. Holy
Yeah.
bolus.
I never cared too much for them, but they were always a little doughy.
Oh.
But I mean, they were good. But I like the other ones better.
Now, do you remember we used to kill that beef every October and hang it in the back porch?
Don't remember that.
She'd go out there and cut that.
No, I don't
Beef
remember
up.
You do all the butchering, huh?
Mother did. But
Oh,
Uncle
she wouldn't butcher it. I mean,
No,
I'm
she,
sure it was already.
cut a chunk off them.
she never
Uh-huh.
slaughtered it,
The
but she butchered
whole
it.
hind leg was
Yeah,
one
I think
piece.
they got it. They probably just bought a hind quarter.
Well, Uncle Mavis, they all went up. Dad went up, and Hans went up.
Oh.
Herman?
Oh, well, that, I don't remember that.
They all went up to Mavis's, and they butchered a couple of big pigs and a couple of bulls that they raised all year. And they'd butcher that, and they divided it all up. They all took, this and that.
I don't
Each one
remember.
got a hind quarter and a.
You wonder how they kept that stuff fresh.
Well, from October up until March, you could hang it on your back porch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was cold.
Well, my wife's folks, they just threw it in the grain.
In the what?
In the grain.
What drain?
They throw their meat where they stored their grain.
Grain.
Oh,
grain.
Grain.
That's a drain.
In the drain.
But they'd bury their well, I don't know about beef, but their ham, they just buried it in a wheat stack, in a wheat pile.
Get it kept?
Oh yeah, it kept. Oh, it kept. Kept all winter.
Didn't mildew, huh?
Yeah, talk
When
about
it's 30 degrees below.
talk about your Saturday night bass. When did you go from an outhouse to indoor plumbing?
Oh,
Yeah.
I could just vaguely remember the
Yeah.
outhouse, but I do remember the wash tub that we got our baths in.
Yeah.
I do remember it just was around wash bench. You heat the water on the old range.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, but who built who built the bathroom? We never had a bathroom when I was there.
Well, I can just vaguely remember the bathroom going in. Because she used to have that room, and that's where she kept her sauerkraut, where the bathroom was. Had it
Yes.
on a bench,
Yeah.
but
The bathroom come after I left home.
Oh, really?
I do not remember who done the plumbing. I remember who done the after plumbing. Yours truly. But the original plumbing, I don't know.
But then you pumped your water too to cook with, huh?
Well, I don't remember that. They had the water. They had the running water as far back as I can remember.
Yeah, we had the pump where Jenny's house is. The big
Yeah, we
pump.
did too.
And then later, somehow, I don't know where the water come from. I think it come from Monroe.
Yeah, it come from Monroe.
And they've got water in our kitchen.
And I don't remember prior to that. I don't remember.
Well, in your growing up, do you remember anything about your big brother that you liked, that you tried to copy?
Well,
I know you had a lot of fights with him, but you remember anything that you admired in him?
He just always wished he was as smart as I was.
no. Well, I never took to the drink. I never cared. Not that I haven't had a few in my life, but the whiskey part never bothered me, like it did Dad and John. You know. No. Well, you see so much of it in your younger life because you used to see it on the job. The whiskey you see it.
Well, after he left, did your mom send you down to get your dad from the bar?
Oh yes.
That was your that was your chore after he left.
Oh
Huh?
yes. You bet. Yeah.
What do you admire about Dad today, or qualities that you think are neat about him as your
Well,
brother?
I think he's got a lot of good qualities. He's always been a number one to me, an older brother. There's a certain bond there that you just can't explain. It's just togetherness. You know, most young fellas, they always look up to their big brother and things that's happened in your lives that you just grew a bond there for each other that it just stands out. Well, you might say it stands out in your heart. It's just something that's there. Oh. And now he got off. Oh, he got off that booze, and that I think the most wonderful thing that ever happened to him. Very, finally seen the light that the friends and that you create as a drinker is, well, it's just my way, just trash.
Yeah.
Found out that the friends they create when you lead a decent, good, clean life is much superior to those from the other side of the fence that there's no comparison. That's I admire that about him. And the ability to create. Ability the ability to work. Just something there that I guess it's just hard to explain.
What you do?
Yeah.
Even though these youngsters, they never committed any crimes. You're full of hell, that's true, but
Yeah, I don't know how that
brings back memories of years gone by, and so I think he's a pretty nice fellow.
Yeah, that
Real nice fellow.
That Dad could talk about
Yeah.
all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you two guys got pretty close because you were bed partners, did a lot together, and then you took off before Bud and Stan were very old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you two are so close.
Yeah, but we had a lot in common because
Both
he
mean,
took up building and so did I.
and you're both mean.
Yeah.
They're both creative too.
Yeah.
I don't think I could lick him anymore though.
It wouldn't take much.
Let it Dad.
Well, it's always impressed me. Every time he'd go to Utah and come back, he'd be so excited to show us what you had made.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the windmill and all this stuff. He'd come home and he'd have to get busy and make it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, It's creative.
Daddy talk.
well, I guess he's a lot like I am. I'm a nervous type. John, I think he's a nervous type. I mean,
I don't see you being
like
nervous at all.
just like a bee on a posy.
I don't think
Hop,
Paul's
hop,
a nervous
hop.
type, do you?
And,
Daddy.
well, the same way, especially.
You're the same way?
Same way, yeah.
He's so
Same way. That is when I'm home.
Be on a posy.
I Of course, I admire John. He can go through the house. Now I can't. I'm not a house person.
You not?
No, damn thing could get an inch of dust on it before I'd get enough ambition to dust it. But I could go outside and I can stay busy outside.
The gardens.
And yeah, my wife used to say, "How can you stay in that old garage? As cold as it is out there, how can you stand it out there?" Got to get from under your apron strings. That's you all day.
Well, Dad, and your little brother, what do you see in him that you've always admired?
Yeah, I don't know.
Admired his temper, huh?
No,
Stayed away from it.
Just something, always something special about Walt. And I always says when I get married and have children, have any boys, I'm gonna name them Walt. So when my son Walt was born, I told Ruth, I said, well, we agreed if it was a boy, I would name it. If it was a girl, she would name it.
Oh, okay.
And if it's going to be a boy, his name's going to be Walt. But anyway, 3 months before Walt was born, we was putting Walt on his bibs, putting Walt on this and that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then when he was born, my father thought I was naming him after him.
Oh.
Yeah. And later on in years, when we was on Malimo, put an arm around my shoulder one day and he said, "Did you ever thank you for naming your boy after me?" I says, "No. No, you never did." Well, I want to thank you. So I just didn't say nothing about it. But me and Walt knew it all the time, didn't we?
Wow, that's
For years.
Oh, I didn't realize you named it after this guy.
Yeah, named him after Walt.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
My-
understand
My first trip to California when Ruth was carrying Walt.
Oh, really?
And that was back in what, 36?
Yeah.
37?
He was born in 36. Walt.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well then Ruth was carrying Walt when I came. And I guess I was only about 16. Huh?
Yeah.
16, 17, I don't know.
how'd you get there? Ride the freight train?
No, I never rode the freight train. We had a cousin that was living in Oakland, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't Ben
Yeah, Ben lived in Oakland.
Barrington lived in Oakland, and they was in Utah, and I drove back with them. Then they dropped me off at John's place. I don't know how long I stayed then, but I took the train back. I was the bus.
The bus.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But then what was that about you going to show with Ruth while I worked?
Oh yeah, Ruth and I. Ruth brought it up the other day there. She said, "Remember when we sold the milk bottles and everything to get enough money to go to the show?"
I'd go to
Milk
work
bottles
and they'd go to the show.
Yeah, and you go down there. Of course, Ruth was. Well, I guess she was pretty well along.
They thought he was the father.
And they walked down the streets, and I guess, God, I was just a snot-nosed kid, and people would look at you.
Thinking he was the
Have to
father.
say,
He didn't watch
well, they probably thought it was man and wife.
Well, as a teenager, were you still big for your age?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they probably did think you were
well,
big.
I was carrying 185 pounds.
Oh wow.
Till I was, well, I guess probably when I started to work, well then you lost it.
Well, tell me.
I was,
Let's sum this up. Tell us a little about your folks. What did each of you take a turn?
What you admired about them?
What did you learn that you thought?
I admire the folks for the discipline that they give us and the standards of living. Now that I'm older, I admire them very much. And as a child, you think they were hard on you, but as you get older, you realize how right they were. I admire them for their strictness. I admire them. Of course, I guess there's a few things about Dad you don't admire, but a good provider. You never went hungry. You always had a nice warm place to sleep. And,
Taught you how to work.
yeah, taught you how to work. He set an example that you had to work. You didn't get nothing for nothing. You had to work for what you got. So I admire them very much. I think they done a good job. They raised 8 children, and they all turned out to be good people. So I think Mother and Dad had a lot to do with it. I don't know how John feels about it, but that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I was, when you're young, you don't realize what a parent goes through until you go through some hard knocks yourself. And then after I grew older and realized the struggle that my parents had, I know Dad, it was during the terrible depression of 1929. Dad was building a whole house for $260 and set his own forms, made his own window frames and shingled his own roof. $260.
Was that counting materials?
No, that's just labor.
Labor.
A labor contract.
Oh my.
But after I'd worked as a carpenter for a long time, I just realized I had it made because I had skill saws. We had a bench saw and a sawman. Poor Dad had done that all by hand. I seen when we got the door jambs, the door frames, it was rough lumber.
Oh no.
And you had to rip it by hand, the width of the wall.
You had to rip it and then plane it?
And plane it, yes.
And join it.
And join it. That was all handwork. But when I think of that.
Yeah, and then you had to cut off all the knobbies on the doors.
Yeah. The doors come with
Knobby
2
doors.
inches longer than the door. That's side pieces. The head and bottom, you had to cut those off. You had to cut the whole door off because that hard door with all by hand, everything by hand. All your 2x4s, they never come 8 feet. They come 8 feet 1, 8 feet 2, 8 feet and a half an inch crooked. So when the 2x4s come, the first thing you had to do was cut one end off square. And then if you wanted it 8 foot, you had to cut it 8 foot long.
You had to square one end.
Before
you
you
had to
cut
cut
it.
both ends then.
That's right.
Every 2x4 took 2 cuts.
That's right.
Years ago.
Oh my.
And you never ordered lumber. Send me 24/16s and 24/12s and 18/10s. No way. You got a load of random lengths. It was all different lengths, and you had to pick out your ceiling joists and pick out this for the rough and pick out this. The handwork that man went through, I never realized, and that's what made me admire how hard he worked to feed my family. Yeah, so if he did take a drink, good gosh, he deserved it. He really did.
Justifiable in that case.
Yeah, it was awful.
And about his mother?
Huh?
Dad, and about your mother, what did you admire about your mom?
Who?
You.
Oh, why? As I got older and come to California, and things was so much farther advanced here than there. I never heard of people having hot water heaters and having hot water. Come to California, and all you had to do is they had a big cylinder there, gas cylinder, and you light a match to it, and you go poof, and a big great bunch of flames would come. Scare you half to death. It was full of coils.
Yeah.
But they all had hot water down here.
Yeah, but she had to heat everything on the
But
stove.
That's right.
The water for
Her-
washing everything.
She had a copper boiler on the stove. Now mind you, in the summertime, it's 100 degrees outside, and she's got 7 children, or when I was a kid, 8 children, and her and father's 10. And she had to wash all these clothes in that hot summer, and they boiled that clothes, and that stove was red hot.
Yeah, in the broiler.
And I could
Boiler.
still see her with just
Yeah.
the sweat running off of her with a stick,
Yeah.
taking the clothes out of that boiler, letting them drip, and bringing them over to the tub, and going through that wringer. And then from there it had to go out to the line in that hot sun. Why,
Well, she got
I
all
don't
through
know
that,
how
she
they
had
ever
that
did
did.
it.
When she got all through, she had to empty that out with a bucket.
Yeah.
Drain it in a bucket,
Yeah.
take it out, throw it out, and go get another bucket. Throw
Yeah.
it out.
And then she had to cook dinner because everybody's coming home. Pa's coming home, she's got to cook dinner. She's got to bake bread twice a week.
Well, I guess
You didn't buy bread in the store. You baked bread. And when I think of the work that poor woman did, my goodness, you just have to admire. And they found time for the family. We had fun in the evenings, didn't we? We sat around, we played checkers, we played dominoes, different little games, we played rummy. She always had time for the children with all that work. In Sunday school, we had everybody dressed and clothes pressed for Sunday school. And cook. Just don't know how.
Gosh,
I don't know how they did it.
I think I was about 14 then.
Yeah.
I put the water in the back porch floor on the drain.
Oh.
Put a hot and cold tap, and then a drain that she didn't need to bucket that water out anymore.
Huh.
Of course, that time they did have the water heater, but you drink just like you would your washer and dryers today, hot and cold in a drain. And that'll eliminate a lot of. Of course, then she got the automatic ones, why? And then she had to hook that up too.
When do you think she got her automatic washer first one?
I was on Virginia.
She got hers when I remembered. I was old enough to know Mom's.
On Virginia.
The old ringer ones.
Yeah.
No, I was married. I know that. I was married.
I remember your father standing there and watching that washer, doing all that stuff. And he says it's just like there's a little man in there doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now,
One-
your
one-
father did not build the house. That house you said was moved there.
Our little house was on Monroe.
Oh, No, well, I don't remember that.
There was one story. And I vaguely remember Uncle Bill and Uncle John and Dad, they laid a lot of planks down there. And Uncle Mavis brought his team of horses, and they pulled that horse on rollers, on pipes,
I don't remember that.
just plumbing pipes, and rolled it from Monroe and put it they just laid it on redwood sleepers. There's no foundation.
Who built the house in the back?
Oh, he did.
That was a
Jenny's?
garage.
It was a garage, and then Jenny and Johnny Osteen lived in
He
it.
built that after the other and burned
Or
down.
did Scouten? Did one burn down?
Oh, yeah, one burned down.
How did it burn down?
Well, I don't know.
Caught on
Nobody
fire.
ever knew it burned down.
But did Grandpa Scouten ever live in that back cottage?
No.
No,
Jenny lived there, huh?
Jenny did. Then they rented it out.
No, and I remember
Have a
Mom
site
coming
to
up
show
and,
you this
well,
stuff.
you was there. When that garage
I'll send
burned?
it tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you had
Yeah.
some.
Do you want some sherbet?
We got some orange sherbet or raspberry sherbet or chocolate ice
Would
cream.
you like some ice